Welcome back, everybody, to Total Nonstop Impact Throwback Edition. This is Trent Law, my co-host, J-Bone. J-Bone, say hello to the people.
What is up, everyone?
We are
How
back
you
here,
doing?
guys. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, J-Bone. Sorry.
It's all good.
I'm a little excited. We are back, guys. We are here to do for the Throwback series. We are making Jay. We're keeping a good pace. We've done pretty well on this. We've done 4 weeks in a row, like we promised. Every week, we are on NWA-TNA number 4 tonight. Keeping a good schedule on this, Jay. I'm enjoying it. So far, so good.
Yeah, it's going good. I mean, I'm watching one a week. So I know a couple of our friends out there are watching a ridiculous amount of them. But yeah, so it's like, all right, next week we've got this coming up and this coming up. So it's like, oh, okay, then if I'm watching one a week,
yeah,
then it really feels special, even though it is almost 20 years old. It's like
it's like watching it old school, it's like watching them like I had to when I first ordered them for $10 a month or a week. I gotta wait till next week to see them. It's kind of making me relive that a little bit. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. Nothing compared to Eric DeHoff, who's on episode number 57 of this already.
Oh my God, he is getting his money's worth, folks.
I gotta love, and I hope more people are following along with us. I gotta hope that the Impact Plus team over at Anthem is like looking at the numbers, like, man, there's really been a spike in the NWA-TNA category lately. So I'd be curious to know what the numbers have been. That'd be cool. We got a couple people in the chat, guys. Last minute, we jumped on. It's New Year's Eve tomorrow. We just decided we gotta keep the pace. This is the last podcast of 2019, so we had to keep the pace here. So Hakeem Fortin, hello. Mir Neeson, hello. Thanks for being in here. It's again, it's a bit of a last minute thing, but we wanted to get this throwback show in and review NWA-TNA number 4. But guys, yeah, we'll get to I know Hakeem and you post some news in there. We're going to talk about the news. I would say we'll start with the news, Jay. We'll note all these news bits down. We'll talk about it when we get to the weekly after the recap shows are done. But we got some big news. Yeah, we're not gonna skip it. Kid Ref leaving. He's not going into 2020. New Japan's not going into Access in 2020. There's a lot of stuff going on surrounding it, but we'll keep it to NWA-TNA tonight, and then we'll definitely be talking about that stuff, guys.
Oh yeah.
But all right, cool.
We'll talk about it eventually.
For sure. No, we'll be there, and we're thinking about hopefully trying to do a recap type show. I think we're gonna try to work that out with Kyle, guys. We'll see if we can get the recap show going here. If not, we might just jump right in and get the weekly done, because we have a go-home episode of Impact before Hard to Kill. Then I go down to Hard to Kill, and when I come back, we'll recap that too. So got a lot going on.
That's cool. Exciting.
All right, Jay, let's kick it off here. NWA-TNA episode number 4, airing from Nashville, not the Asylum. This is at the Nashville Auditorium. This is part of that double taping. 3 and 4 were taped at the Nashville Auditorium. Nice, big, loud as shit arena. My God, these people are loud. I gotta love this crowd, Jay.
Yeah, I listening to it again, I feel like there's some added audio bumped in there, and I think that's going to be that way for a bunch of these that I watch on here. I don't know why, because I mean the crowd was popping, but like if you listen close, if you listen back, you can hear just a faint little. It's like a constant. Man. It's ridiculous.
I think the crowd's just loud. There, you could see them. They're loud. It's a hell of a crowd, man. Nashville really brought it on these, but definitely. So we kick it off, Jay. Tag team title match. Father James Mitchell. Oh, actually, the show opened with James Mitchell introducing Tempest as the new member of the Disciples of the New Church. Tempest, the former Crowbar from WCW. You remember Crowbar?
Yes, I loved Crowbar.
Me too.
Yeah. He was one of the first guys back in the day when I would do with all the Crater wrestlers and the first few SmackDown games. He was always one of the first guys I made. I'd make him, a bunch of WCW guys, and then I would duke out all the WWF and WCW guys, the disbanded WCW. But
I do love I love Crowbar, man. He was such a good Devin Storm. Also, as Devin Storm on the Independence, he I think he is a physical therapist now. That's what he does for a living. But he was
really?
fixture on the East Coast for a long time. Yeah, so he did okay.
So
we kicked off, man.
Watching this, I forgot how good he was, and it was so great to see this stuff because this is fresh out of WCW days. So it's
yeah, you're a year out of WCW right now. It's at this point where we're at in the show. So it's fun to see how good. I mean, how good some of these guys were. You're like, man, that guy really was good. I wish he had more of a run. But they kick it off. The tag team champions who won it the previous week, AJ and Jerry Lynn, which we thought was an odd decision, Jay. Putting 2 belts on AJ. It was a little quick to load him up with a lot of belts, but good match, back and forth. A lot of energy with these guys. There was a bit of a little dissension on this one, Jay. They had a thing where Jerry was going for the finish. Styles tagged himself in. Styles went for the spiral tap. Basically stole the pin from Jerry. But, the team won. They stole the pin. Styles stole the pin from Jerry. And you see that look on Jerry's face.
Jerry just wasn't feeling it. He's, the lack of communication there, but you got to expect that with a brand new tag team put together. You're not going to have that. Okay, I know my buddy's got my back. If I'm reeling down in a match and I'm hurting, I know he's going to, get the tag and be able to tag himself in. That's going to happen. If Jerry's still kind of a hot shot, but he just wants a good, kid on his side. And, obviously the communication isn't there yet in this tag team, unfortunately. I mean, great tag team, but
It's kind of funny I'm like, God, week 4, we're already breaking up a tag team. We're already causing trouble with these guys. But a little early. I thought it was a little quick to do that. But and it gets even more later in the show. But Styles is celebrating. Yeah, a lot. Styles is celebrating. Jerry kind of walks off like, what the hell? It was my pin. Look, so the announcer, we go to the announce table. Guys are introduce themselves. They play clips to kind of recap the Scott Hall and Jeff Jarrett feud. Including Brian Christopher's recent turn on the previous episode. And they get a phone call from Scott Hall. Mike TNA gets Scott Hall on the cell phone. And he talks about Brian Christopher, Jarrett, K-Krush. Like, basically talks about the feud. You can even tell it was like a 2002 quality cell phone. It's like how technology has changed. But
could even hear the toothpick hit the phone.
Definitely classic Scott Hall, but he made his threats clear to those 3. And Brian Christopher cuts a promo, Jay. I thought this was a great promo. He basically explains his turn and how he wants his own identity and how he doesn't want to be known as Jerry's kid anymore. He's Brian Lawler. He's not Brian Christopher. And he doesn't give a shit about anybody. Basically, I like that they were trying to pull him away from the old persona. And they're trying to establish him as a star because you could tell they wanted to go with him long term.
Well, yeah, and definitely considering the location where they did this down south, Jerry is big down south,
especially in Tennessee.
That's where he originated, and isn't he a mayor or something down there now or something?
He ran for it. I don't think he won it though. He ran for mayor of Memphis. Yeah.
But nonetheless, people love him down there. And if you're, if this is his bratty son crapping on his dad, people are going to defend Jerry no matter what. So this was a, and I know they're, I should say, I don't know the relationship throughout the years. It's been documented through storylines that there were issues. Yeah, that there was stuff going on, in this company and that company and whatever. It's been talked about a lot. So but especially for where they are, like I said, where they are here, the fans are going to love Jerry and they're going to turn on Brian. So this was a good heel move.
It was a good. It just seems so quick. All the heel turn, like we're episode number 4. We're already turning guys back and forth.
Yeah, they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of stuff, but this was a very. You got to think about the time.
And the context, right? Like you're a weekly show. You don't know if you're going to make it to next week.
Yeah, and and people's contracts. And this was a strange time. You weren't sure who was going to be there, who was going to show up. You got to plan stuff last minute, like you and I talked about right before we went live with some other stuff. But
yeah.
So yeah, and it could have been that kind of change too. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, you never know. His opponent comes out, and it's none other, Jay, than the legendary, now coach at the Performance Center for WWE NXT, the Big Wiggle himself, Norman Smiley. Can you get up and do your Big Wiggle, please? That's ratings. We're going to need the ratings here. Holy shit, he's actually doing it. Guys, if you're listening on the audio-only version of this, you need to go to the YouTube channel at Total Nonstop Impact and watch J-Bone do the big wiggle.
That's a lot of wiggle.
Tons of wiggle. He's done. His exercise for the 2019 is done. But this was a good match, a standard match. But it was Norman Smiley popped that crowd though. People love Norman Smiley.
Oh yeah. And I'm going to reference this all the time as we're doing this. He was very popular in WCW, so he still has that fan base shortly after the demise. So if X amount of people are not going to show up in the WWF for an invasion angle, they're going to show up here. So yeah, and he was very popular, and I'm so glad I decided to do this. I'm going to say that a million times too, because you forget who was really good and who were the workhorses of that brand back in the day. And Norman Smiley was, he might have been goofy, but damn, he was a good worker. He was
a great worker. I love Norman Smiley. I think he's a hell of a. There's a reason he's a coach at the Performance Center. He's great, and he's he's the head coach. One of the head coaches. So the guy's extremely talented.
He's good if he's had that kind of longevity. And people trust him to put careers in his hands. And he's been in NXT now. Oof.
At least 5 years? If not more?
Starting back the days of like the Shield and just before that. So we're talking we're talking 2011 going into this next decade. So almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years as the coach. So good for him.
I'm pretty sure he's been there that long, just about. So
he used to be known as Black Magic at Black Magic in Puerto Rico. So I remember that was his original gimmick down there.
Must have been under a mask.
I don't know if he was under a mask. I forget if he was under a mask or not. But he is, he's from London, or he's billed from London. I think he was from the islands, the Caribbean.
Oh, was he?
But he was always billed from London. I don't know if he lived there or what. But he like you said, he had such a great fan base going into 2002. It was great. We got Kill Steel in the chat saying he did not expect you to do a big wiggle when he signed in today.
Merry Christmas.
Merry freaking Happy New Year to you.
Happy holidays. You get a little wiggle from the J-Bone.
And just to clarify, actually, Norman Smiley's been with the WWE since 2007. It's a long time he's worked there. So good for him.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Let's keep this ball rolling. Here we go to the back, and Goldilocks catches up to Jeff Jarrett and Bill Behrens, NWA president, or one of the head officials. And just as Jarrett learns that he is not getting a title shot against Ken Shamrock tonight, Jarrett pushes Behrens around and gets suspended for his trouble. So now we're planting that seed. Jeff Jarrett's suspended. He was all over this goddamn show. Goldilocks then immediately hears James Mitchell yelling behind a nearly closed door, which shuts as she approaches it. So she hears some commotion, goes over to it. It's not.
Oh, he's going off.
He's going off on somebody. But here's this Jarrett thing. It really worked. I mean, I know he was the owner of the company, but man, were they really starting to were they really pinning Jarrett as the hood ornament here, man? It was done very, very quickly to get Jarrett at the front of it. Were you a Jarrett fan, Jay? WCW?
He was one of my most, like, as far as like the heels that I really hated. Yeah. I hated him the most. Yeah, like
Okay.
like there's
He did his job.
there's the bad guys that you love, and then there's the bad guys that you hate. Yeah, I hated him. I didn't come to appreciate him until like years later. I just thought he was just like a spoiled brat, and I legit hated him. Yeah.
My thing with Jarrett always was. He was never a flashy guy. He always looked great, body, gear, performance. He can get you from A to B. He's a good talker. He has everything you need to be a sound player.
He did his job well. He made you hate him, So that I got to give him the highest compliment, because I hated him for years in every whatever brand I saw him in,
Yeah.
So, but I mean, then he went in the Hall of Fame later. I was very excited about that. I was very, I was like, hey, okay, he deserved that because he worked his ass off for decades.
Yeah, I would say everything aside, with him and Impact, everything aside, I think he is a legendary name in the business, So I think
I'm not focusing on the negatives, just strictly the positives. Yeah,
strictly as fans, what we see, I gotta give him that career. But
right,
we go back to the ring, Jay. K-Krush, aka Around the Truth Killings, aka Our Truth, aka K-Quick, right? He was
K-Krush.
Wasn't he K-Quick also once too, or no?
K-Quick, because he spent a very short amount of time in the WWF right before this.
Yes.
And he was actually, who was Brian Christopher's tag partner?
Scotty Too Hotty.
Scotty Too Hotty.
Who's the coach down there too now, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. That's right. He was Scotty Too Hotty's tag partner right within a year of this. He showed they were a tag for a while. I don't know if it's because Brian Christopher was already gone, rehabbing or fired or whatever the situation was. But yeah, he was put with Scotty Too Hotty for a short period of time. But I remember him being there not very long at all. And then,
Gotcha. All right, cool. We got a couple of comments. I want to just address them here. Kill Still's telling me that was my opportunity to stump Hakeem Fullerton with some trivia. Well, I will keep it in mind. My bad, I missed the window on that one, but it'll be. But Mir Neeson wants to see Bones behind you there, Jay. Do the wiggle. So if you want to puppet the Bones back there to do the big wiggle.
that can get pretty messy.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
It's hard enough to get him into place and to get him to stay there.
So K-Krush is in there. He's insulting the town, NASCAR, the random fans. He's threatening fans. Hermie Sadler comes to the ring for the match. He's about that. So Hermie Sadler, NASCAR drivers, come to the ring. I got to give it to Ron Killings. He really put this guy over and made him look somewhat believable. And I gotta say, it was to give him the offense he did was very generous. And I thought that was pretty cool. It shows what a great talent he is because he made him look very credible.
Yeah.
Gets the pin by putting his feet on the ropes, which I didn't like that, Jay. I didn't like that they show that the real wrestler has to cheat to beat this guy. I didn't like it. I don't know about you, but I thought that was kind of like, you're demeaning him as a wrestler to beat the NASCAR guy. What do you think?
It's twofold. It's okay. You put heat. He wants to put heat on himself.
It's heat. Yep. That's what it is.
Because he knows that there was a fan base that loved him somewhere because he was, like I said, he was with Scotty Too Hotty.
True.
Oh, and now he's a heel. Okay, and you got to heal it up. So yeah, you got to do stuff like that, and then the beat down afterwards, and then it gets reversed. So yeah, so Hermie still gets put over, which is hilarious.
It's definitely a heat move, heat seeking move. Which I get it at that point. I mean, but he was a great heel, man. He was a fantastic. He knew how to stir up an audience. That's the real talent that he had. We get also a reverse decision. K-Krush hits Sadler with a cheap shot. And Slick Johnson reverses the decision, gives the match to Sadler via DQ. So it was a nice little, send the crowd home happy. There's a comment there. What do you got, Jay?
Yeah, it says I thought K-Quick was tagging with Road Dogg, not
Road
Scotty
Dogg
Too
in
Hotty.
TNA.
Yeah, you know what? You might be right on that one. You might be right.
Road Dogg in TNA at 3 Live Crew. I don't know about WWE stuff, so I couldn't tell you if it was Scotty Too Hotty.
Yeah,
but
I'd have to. Oh wait, I don't have the network anymore. I can't go back and look. We'll have to YouTube that and see if
we'll figure that out.
Tagged with who. But yeah, I knew it was one. It was one. You're probably right, but I knew it was something like that. So
we go to the back, and Takao Omori, who I've never heard of, Jay. I've never heard of Takao Omori. If anyone in the chat has heard of Takao Omori, I'd like to know. He's doing Hindu squats backstage.
I've heard of a few classic names. That is one. I mean, I was still excited for it, but I was like, no, I don't know that one.
No idea who that was. I couldn't figure out why he's getting a title shot. That one kind of threw me. Like, why is this random Japanese competitor in his first match for NWA-TNA getting a title shot? Part of me was hoping that at some point they would have mentioned that maybe he's part of the NWA in Japan and he's ranked up there where he would, where he deserved a title shot. But nothing. There was nothing about that. So I was just really confused why he got a title shot. I'd never, Jay,
No, I've never. Jay. No, like I said, I've heard of a few classic names, but I've never heard of them.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So anybody. I'm looking at some of his stats right now. He was he's in All Japan now, but he's done New Japan Wrestling for years. 0-1. Primarily looks like a Noah, an All Japan and Noah guy. Well, looks like that was his primary stuff that he did, but I don't know, man. Never heard of the guy. It was strange to me that he got a title shot. I didn't really understand why, but. While he's doing the back there, Alicia, also knows Ryan Shamrock, who's been coming around collecting money, stops him mid-squat, and he pulls some money out from his gym bag and gives it to her. So this is furthering that constant, whatever the hell that's going on. I still don't remember where this went. I have no idea.
This hoe is getting paid, dude.
She's making some money, that's for sure. 4 weeks in a row without lifting a finger.
Yeah, just walking up, taking money. It's like, oh, they talk about shut up and take my money. When she's legit doing that.
The Hot Shots hit the ring and showcase some of their high flying styles against a couple of kids. Jay, you ever heard of these kids? Jay and Mark, a couple of scrubs. Never heard of these two.
Oh man,
I think their last name was Briscoe.
Yeah.
Jay and Mark Briscoe. I heard they turned into something pretty big after this.
Yeah. It was. I was actually. I had seen clips of this years ago, and I was really excited to actually see this. I was really bummed at the end of this match what it turned into, but seeing these two really young upstart tag teams together, the Hot Shots and the Briscoes together. Man, I was just on the edge of my seat.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, that just made me feel so good to watch it. I love the Briscoes.
Talk about bringing it.
Yeah, I may not watch a lot of current Ring of Honor stuff, but I still love the Briscoes. I have all respect for them. They are still one of the top tag teams around, in my opinion. I know people have different opinions of them, think they're scrubs, but man, those guys are workhorses, and they're loyal too.
I love the Briscoe brothers. I met them several times. I absolutely think the world of those guys. And seeing them as kids, 18 years old, man, like 18? Crazy, huh?
Oh 18. My God. Crazy.
They were punks,
Yeah.
But you could see it. The talent was there. And they had Chase Stevens and Cassidy O'Reilly as the Hot Shots early in their career. I mean, these guys all became big names. Went on to great things. Cassidy and Chase still wrestling today, good, which is awesome. So
they do. They tag together, not all the time, but some of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they stay busy. I see that they stay working, which is awesome. And they were always good. I always thought the world of them. I thought they were great, a great tag, and they become a big part of TNA. As TNA goes on, they're a big part of it. So. Good for them, man. I thought that was really neat to see. I totally forgot. I knew the Briscoes appeared maybe twice, 3 times tops, or maybe it's just the once. I don't recall, but I remember they had a couple matches, and I just couldn't remember it was this early on. Which I think is really cool. It's fun to see that, man. It's fun to see these guys become, see them in their early days and become what they have, So
yeah,
good for them. Very fun. But the match didn't go far because they got interrupted. And I guess it was a safe way. They were unknown teams. If you were going to beat anybody down to prove the point, do it to these guys because they can afford to take the hit. But
oh yeah,
it didn't go long. Maybe 2 minutes. The new church comes in, led by Malice, and he lays out everybody, tosses them out from the ring. Mitchell takes the microphone and announces that they will not leave until Shamrock's blood is on Malice's hands. So they're really, really making this title just seem like that's it. People are driven to destruction because of this title, which is what I like, Jay. I don't know about you, but I always feel the title should be treated like it is the most valuable thing in the world, like the precious from the Lord of the Rings. Like everybody just wants it, and they'll do whatever they got to do to get to it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And if it wasn't that, I'd say it should have been just the tag team of the Disciples, coming in and attacking them or whatever, and saying that they're going to run the tag team division. Either or, it would have been great,
Yeah. No, it was cool. But so they start going after, and then they say, well, if their demands aren't met about Malice getting a title shot, they're going to take out victims, and they're going to start with the timekeeper as their first one. They throw him in. They're about to powerbomb. Shamrock makes the run in. He's overwhelmed, and then Omori, who's later his opponent, comes in to save him. Now, that timekeeper, I forget his name, but he ends up becoming a fixture after this. And I forgot his name. He's got a funny name, but he's a fixture in the Nashville scene apparently, and people getting to know him. Yeah,
oh, that's funny.
So he's there for the long run.
He's a big boy.
That is a big boy. Almost got power bombed. We go to the back, and Goldilocks is interviewing the Dups. Both brothers take turns making out with their cousin Fluffed Up, and or trying to at least. And Goldilocks looks disgusted the whole time. I
don't even know if you can call that trying. I don't know what the hell kind of. I mean, I've done some making out. I've done some making out in my lifetime, and I don't know what the hell they were doing. It was just kind of just. It was. I don't know. Was meth a thing back then? I don't know.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure that it was there, but. Bo Dup looked like he was a little more touchy-feely with her. I'm guessing maybe they were really dating those two because he was extremely touchy-feely.
Oh, so, he was just disgusting with the whole like drip going down all the way down his neck and just oh god.
So a couple comments here. Hakeem's asking, the Briscoes appeared in TNA. Everyone was just coming and going in those early days. There was no contracts, Hakeem. There's a couple guys who were on set dates, but if you watch those early days, man, they gave chances to everybody. Everybody had a shot,
Yeah, that's why they throw in the hidden gems on the Impact Plus, because it shocks people, who actually spent a cup of coffee or had a special match with so-and-so, and had a spotlight, just the list is endless.
I mean, there's so many guys. If you look through that hidden gem section, you're like, wait, John Moxley was in TNA, things like that. You're like, what?
Oh yeah.
It just blows your mind. I mean, what's that guy's name? Oh shoot, I'm messing with Nakamura. There's a hidden gem with him on there. Like everybody's come through, they gave him a shot, man. The open door policy was interesting.
It was.
But nowadays the problem is it's hard to do it because you can't build around anybody. It's hard to build because you have so many competitors now. You got so many damn companies. It's like, how can I build a story around this guy if he has an open door enough to leave and not be at my next show? Then there goes my story. So it's very tricky nowadays. Yeah. As an independent for AAW, that's something we suffer. It's like, do we start a story with somebody knowing that they might get signed or they are signed or they might be somewhere else? They can't make a date. That stuff's tricky, guys. That's where it gets tough for us.
Yep.
But we go from that. Jeremy Borash trying to announce the dubs. Now the music, Jake, keeps getting interrupted by porn music, which I know I'm sure you figured you were recognizing this. You're oh hey, I've heard that before. But interrupted by your favorite porn star and one of mine from back in high school, Miss Jasmine St. Clair. Interrupts the entrance and makes her way down. Now, were you a Jasmine St. Clair, let's call it admirer, Jay?
I heard of her, but not until recently.
Is Mrs. J-Bone in the room or something? Is she listening to this? You can tell us the truth.
No, I'm
the
being
family's in here.
I'm being brutally honest. I've seen her on social media, and I know she's got a fan base, but I have no clue how far back she goes. And when she came down to the ring, I was like, oh, she was here? Because I know she was like in ECW. Wrestling. Yeah. Okay. So she was in ECW. That was probably like the biggest part of her fan base starting. Then, spending, I'm not sure how long in TNA. I don't think she was ever in WWF or E.
No.
Not to my knowledge. Even in the
I don't think so.
TNA days. I've heard of her, but no, I have no clue like even how far back her fandom goes.
Now I'm not sure who's around my age group in the chat or listening on their favorite podcast app. But in the 90s, in the mid to late 90s, there was a top 5 porn stars that every teenage boy just couldn't, let's say, stop admiring. And Jasmine St. Clair was in that group for a long time. And then when she showed up in wrestling, if you're a mark and your favorite porn star just shows up in wrestling, you're like, wait a minute, man. My two worlds are colliding. So this was kind of cool. The thing is, she proved a lot of her worth in ECW by taking a goddamn beating, man. Pile drivers from Rhino, Spears.
Oh, see, there you go.
She's done some hardcore shit. And Mira Neeson with the Jenna Jameson drop. I see that. She was winning that top 5 in the 90s. It was like Jenna Jameson, Jasmine St. Clair, Stacey Valentine. I mean, I am burying myself here right now. What am I doing? Jasmine had open door policy. Okay, all right. Millard Harris. We're trying to do a family show here.
Thank you, Millard. That was probably the best line of the entire thing.
All right. Vertical Sting. I'm sorry to be off topic. Critical Sting's mad at me. Critical Sting, let's keep you busy. Get some Jasmine St. Clair facts regarding her wrestling. Get some trivia together. But
there you go.
Jay, the best part of this, so she comes in, she basically starts teasing the whole like this. So you know what TNA is about. We know what the real TNA is. I'm gonna show it to you. Offers to give Jeremy Borash a lap dance. He's sweating because he's clearly about to lose his virginity at this point from the way he looked at it. But
he's going to lose something.
This was one of my favorite TNA moments. I never forgot this. I knew this was the spot. When she was going to strip and Bill Behrens is coming down to cover her up and Ed Ferrara spears Bill Behrens. No! Dude, I swear to God, July 10th, 2002, me and my buddy Dave Virgilio on his couch watching in his living room, laughed for a half hour at that spear. And after the show ended, we went back and replayed that scene 3-4 times. Laughed our asses off at the way Ed Ferrara jumped in and just like, no! It was amazing. What she doesn't know can't hurt, Mir. But
Nicole is gonna hurt you.
She is going. She's she's not in the chat. She's getting ready for New Year's Eve. But yeah, dude, I thought that was hilarious. So he gets her back. It's a whole discombobulation. The Dubs finally come out and face the Flying Elvises, which is Sonny Siaki and Jorge Estrada, and Mortimer Plumtree is on commentary, and he's kind of scouting, and he's mentioned he's done with the Johnsons, and he's looking to manage someone like Jerry Lynn. Jay, how good is Mortimer Plumtree? Even just that delivery on commentary.
He was quite the character. Yeah. I mean, because it took him a while to get to it. He didn't just come out and sit down. He was like, kind of like scoping the ring, like,
Yeah. I love the character. I think he was so good. If anyone knows what happened to him, I need to get info, because part of me is really hoping. Ethan Page today went on social media, because I think Miguel Contreras, big Impact fan, always front row, usually near William Gardner in the front row, asked him on Twitter and said, is this TNA throwback show actually happening or what? Like, I need to plan my WrestleMania weekend festivities.
Yeah.
And he's like, I pitched it to Scott. It's in his hands now, but I can tell you this, it's going to happen. So just make plans to be there. I'm hoping Mortimer Plumtree is part of that, because I know everybody's pushing for Monty Brown, but the two guys I want to see are Mortimer Plumtree and goddamn Sonny Siaki. That's all I want. I'll be happy with Monty Brown.
That'd be tremendous. Yeah, I loved Sonny Siaki. He was another guy that stuck around for a few years. I remember him from a couple years later, like I said, when I started really watching the classic TNA. Yeah, him, Apollo, I love those guys. They were tremendous.
Sonny Siaki, I think I mentioned this before, Jay. I was watching Family Feud years ago, and I remember watching, and one of the families was, I think Siaki was a shoot name. I think that was shoot. And I see the family is Siaki, and I'm like, wait a minute. And Sonny Siaki is on Family Feud. And he talks about he was working as a manager for UPS now. He mentions his wrestling background.
Really?
He mentioned that he was a professional wrestler. And the reason he retired, Jay, is he gave his kidney to save his brother's life. That's why he retired from wrestling.
Yeah, it was
That's
him.
A classy guy.
I knew there was a guy in classic TNA that did that. I couldn't remember if it was Apollo or Sonny Siaki. Yeah, it was one of those guys from way back. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah,
he was a fantastic talent. I wish, gosh, because he retired in 2008, and man, if he just got to like go through up to like 2010, in that real peak, like some of that stuff was really, the X Division shit was really kicking interesting at that point. And if he could have just stayed long term, he could have been even further and further.
The names in this division back then, my
God.
Some of them are still going.
So still going, man. Still going. But I remember he got a deal, some developmental deal with the WWE under the FCW banner and Deep South. So he kind of made his rounds after TNA, because I think he did TNA for only about 3 years. But man, I wish he got further, man. I really wish he got further, because he was just such a great talent. And I'm glad we did get a X Division title run out of him. I'm glad he got to be in the books. He's part of that history forever, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So it's very cool to know that he did something awesome on his way out. But okay, cool. Millard Harris mentioned Mortimer Plumtree was an actor also. I can see that though. I can totally see that, because he has that delivery. He's so good at it.
He does. He does.
I don't know his shoot name. I wish I could look him up, man. But if there was a way to just find what happened to him, it'd be fantastic. But we go from that to, we quick jump to the back. Jerry Lynn and AJ Styles in the catering area, Jay, beating the shit out of each other.
Oh man, were they? Yeah, you talk about things. Things got heated later. Oh hell yeah, they did.
No, dude, they beat the hell out of it. Again, though, my problem is it's a little early. I mean, they just won the tag belts a week ago. We didn't even stretch this out. In a week, they're falling apart. And to the live crowd in the same night.
I hear you there. Yeah.
I just thought it was a little sudden. I said, this is way too. It felt like a cop out. I'm like, feuding tag team champion partners is great. It's a great storyline. You can do that. But that soon?
Yeah.
What kind of mileage do you get now? What do you do with the belt? I mean, I've seen these. I don't recall. And we're not looking ahead. What the hell can you do with these though? Yeah. So, and then AJ is the X Division champion. Obviously, it sets up a couple things that way, but I don't know, man. I just thought it was real soon, but that little brawl was pretty cool.
That site you gave me for the results, as far as the NWA-TNA results, that Mortimer Plumtree actually has a profile. You can go check out some of his stuff on there.
I just saw. I'm looking at Wikipedia. He's got a huge one under Wikipedia. He was part of that Minnesota Robbinsdale crew, which I didn't know if he's from, with Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, Road Warriors, Barry Darso, Nikita Koloff, Tom Zink, Brady Boone, and John Nord. So he's from that Robbinsdale crew, which I had no idea.
Yeah.
So good for him. I didn't even know he was an AWA guy. So gosh, I gotta look more into it. But
real name is David Weber. There we go. Thank you, Millard.
Yep. Very cool. David Weber. There it is. Yeah, I just found his Wikipedia too. So I'm gonna read more about that after we're off the air, but very cool. But yeah, man, I don't recall where the feud goes with the tag team champion partners, Jay, but I just think it's very soon, especially you got two guys holding belts, and then AJ is also the X Division champion. You set up a new contender later on the show, and it's not Jerry. What in the hell? I don't know. I felt like these things should be stretched out a little bit of a rush. But we go to the main, not main event, but the world title match. And Ken Shamrock is taking on, I guess he was in NOAH at the time, Takao Omori, the NWA title. I don't know why Takao Omori is getting a title shot. There was nothing said about why he was getting it. I mean, why? What was his reasoning?
Yeah, there was one of the NWA, the president said he was doing some scouting in Japan a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. And then, but beyond that, yeah, no clue who this guy was. But they said on the show here, said, oh, Ken Shamrock couldn't prepare for this at all, but Omori's been getting ready for this for weeks. It's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. So somebody knew.
Somebody clearly knew. I just think it's, again, with the Omori thing, it's nice and all, but I'd rather would have seen someone who's going to get some mileage out of it to get a title shot. It just didn't add up. But the cool thing was seeing Harley Race as the ambassador for the match, 8-time world champion Harley Race, the legend himself, who during the schmaz that ends up happening because Jeff Jarrett spoiled it, ran down, attacked everybody with a chair, beat the shit out of everybody, Shamrock, Omori, including Harley Race taking a massive chair shot to the head.
Ooh, brutal. Absolutely.
In 2002, brutal. Harley Race had to be, goddamn, I mean, late 60s. Shit, that was not an easy chair shot. Even in his late 60s, you can't take a chair shot that tough. What in the hell, man? I thought he was going to give him one of those light ones, but he cracked him over the skull, man. Did you see that?
Yeah. I mean, he nailed everyone. He took out security, was taking headshots.
Unreal.
Harley, I think the only one that didn't take a headshot was Bullet Bob Armstrong, who ran down. My question is, and one thing that I noticed, where was the championship?
The belt? Was the belt not there? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, when Ken ran down earlier because of the brawl and broken up, and then he had that stare down with Omori after the whole disciple thing was broken up. And and then there was some other stuff happening, and then they came back and had their match. There was no, unless it was supposed to be a non-title match, and there was some confusion or something. I don't know.
No, it was a title match,
but there was no championship out there, So then I was like, okay, well, maybe Harley was out there. Was there some lost footage and Harley was holding it or something? I don't know.
I thought he was. I'll double check. I could have sworn he was, but no idea. I'll have to look in. I'll have to kind of skip back to that part.
I mean, it's just it's an odd point, but I noticed that when I was watching that, I'm like, because usually they come down, it's over the shoulder, it's around the waist, and for a guy like Ken, is a guy that would have it around his waist, and I was like, wait, where's the belt? So no criticism, just thought it was funny. Where was it?
I want you to highlight this comment that's Critical Sting made here. This is very interesting. He says, so the NWA-TNA worked with Noah and AAA back in the day, and now Impact Wrestling works with Noah and AAA. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. How true.
Yeah,
How
funny.
very true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good relations to think about. Nearly 20 years of friendship between all those guys. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, this I think they said. Oh, what did they say? Oh, I'm trying to think of a comment that they were made on commentary regarding the Flying Elvises. And was that after this or before this? That was before this. They said Jimmy Yang was doing a stint. He couldn't be present for this because he was doing a stint in All Japan.
That's right. He was.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. So
yeah. And it's interesting to think because he had not been on since week 2, right? So it looks like between the shift over, he might went on that tour. So that's pretty interesting. Good to note that. So what bothered me here, Jay, was that we had 2 matches end with a run-in result DQ.
A no contest. Yeah.
Right. It's 2 of them. The first one, I guess, is a little more rookie match, but this one, you're talking a title match. It was. But I get the message of the show. They're doing this thing where the New Church and Jared, they're all being disruptors. They're all trying to screw around. They're disrupting everything until they get their way. I get that, but title matches should be a little more sacred. But then again, at the same time, I don't even know why the hell Omori is getting the title shot. So I'm not too broken about it.
Yeah, so that felt kind of WCW-ish, I guess, if there was any criticism about it, because, I mean, I remember one time when I was getting frustrated watching classic WCW back in the day, and after every single match, there was a run-in. In one 2-hour show, there was a run-in on every single match, and it was like, wait, what? No, that's that. Once in a while, okay, you want to, here's someone new, we're gonna introduce them this way, or cause some controversy in a championship match on TV or something like that. Someone's got to get heat, but not every single match. Come on. So yeah, that's why I said it's kind of WCW-ish.
Yeah, you're right, and that's tough. A lot of times what happens is those guys refuse to lose to each other. It's the safe way out. It's what you can do to get guys out of shit sometimes, which sucks, but it's one of the ways you got to do it. But
sometimes politics, someone doesn't want to lose.
That's usually a lot of times what it is, unless that makes sense. But we go to the back, Jay. Goldilocks meets up with Jerry Lynn, who's crouched in a hallway, and she asks Lynn for a comment on the whole AJ Styles thing. And he says, "Oh, you want a comment? You want some? I'll give you some. Open up and say, ah." And he walks off, and she's like, "Oh, my God."
Yeah, that was.
It's just so funny to hear Jerry Lynn be a dick because he's the nicest guy in the whole world. Like it's so funny when he's a heel because not funny, but it's so like I can't believe he's so mean. Because you listen to his podcast, he's a sweetheart.
I popped because it made me think of the Poison album from.
That's exactly what I thought of
from the AZ. Okay, so I wasn't the only one that thought of that, but it was there was that sleazy tone to it, but yeah, it really didn't make sense for the part. But it was like, oh, okay, well maybe he's turning heel. I don't know. Yeah, we gotta wait and see where this goes. But yeah,
well, Jerry's a big metal guy, right? So he knows, and I'm sure he made that reference. Partly was Poison too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah, here's the thing. While it might be quick for the turns, I like that we're furthering everything with story. The Brian Lawler, Jerry Lynn, Jarrett, Scott Hall, K-Krush, all that, everything that has a program is getting furthered with storyline instead of just like here's a match. We're getting story, and it's all feeding in to the greater good, which I like.
Right.
So I like that, man. I think that's a really cool. If you're gonna do it this way, I think it's a cool way to do it. Is at least keep fueling and putting fuel on that story fire. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed that part of it quite a bit, even if it might be a little quick.
Yeah.
After that, Goldilocks, she reacts. She bumps into James Mitchell, Jay, and the disciples of the new church. He kind of gives her the Jim Mitchell special of talking and the message. But he asks her to tell Jarrett to see him. And he says, Jarrett is in danger of sinning and calls himself a god. And she's like, wait, you call yourself a god? And he's like, yes. Now, if you smirk at me again, I'll cut your face off or something.
Yeah.
So, oh, God. I love Jim Mitchell. I just keep thinking of when I ran into him in Philly, walking down this long street. It's like industrial street, and I see this guy I see the devil in red walking towards me, and we pass each other, and he's like, "Excuse me, do you know where I can get some beer and cigarettes?" And I was like, "Yeah, about a half a mile that way." And he's like, "That's really fucking far to walk." I was like, "Sorry, pal, we gotta get back to the arena, though." And he's like, "I know, but I really want that goddamn beer." So and I just look over and he's walking into the distance. I see the red devil walking away from me.
Absolutely priceless.
That's awesome. Great. During that interview, Jay, did you hear something? The Jim Mitchell thing. Did you hear a constant murmuring during that?
Yeah. Did you not... something muffled, like just off camera. Yeah.
Like, weird. I was like, what the fuck is that? And like nobody was reacting to it. I was like, what? And it's like kept cutting into the interview.
It's like were the hormones in the guy's pants because they were talking to Goldilocks? Were they reacting to the interview? What's going on? Yeah.
But what got me was that at first I'm like, they're not going to sell it. Nobody's going to react to this, right? And then she finally does, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm like, I thought they left like an edit in or something, and they like screw up the audio, but no, she reacted to it. She runs around looking for it, and it's Bill Barron stripped naked, tied up with FU drawn on him, similar to everybody else who's been attacked lately. So that's going on. So we still don't know who that is. And
he's the one that suspended Jarrett earlier. So yeah, so there's a connection here because didn't the president have something to say to him in one of the last episodes? Yes. And look what happened to him.
So it's like everybody involving Jarrett is getting tied up, but
yeah.
But it's like, but in this one, Jarrett, it didn't make any sense if Jarrett did it that quick. Also, he was just out there in the ring. It didn't really add up. But I was like, it's everyone involved in Jarrett, so who knows? I don't recall who it is, so we'll find out.
Interesting.
Now the main event here, Jay. This is something else. 6-way elimination singles match to set the top 6 contenders for the X Division title. I love that setup. I love it that in the order you lose, that's the order you are in X Division title rank, backwards to forwards.
Yeah,
I thought that's brilliant. That's something that we could totally do today and have it make sense.
Yeah, I think fact, the only one that does do that is AEW, not the mark out for another company, but it's true because they put that sports aspect in there. So,
but they, from what I understand, they don't follow it though, and they're talking about resetting their records and stuff, right?
They're reset at the start of the year with this next episode. They're doing a restart with everything. So they had their first like 12 weeks of television for 2019, and they're resetting. They reset everything at the start of each year.
It's weird. It's weird to do it that way.
I mean, that's what sports teams do. They start a new season of football, baseball, and the records are clear, and they start fresh. So,
yeah, I don't know. There seems like it's missing some logic. There's a logic gap in it because you're doing it at 12 weeks, and it's like, well, then shouldn't you be doing it every 12 weeks? Then that's it's a weird logic gap. They should have started it in 2020. That would have made sense.
Yeah,
but, yeah. Like you should have established everything in 19. And then start it and say, wait, hold on. There is a comment that you need to highlight there. There's a comment. I'm sure you need below that one.
Below that.
2 below that one. There it is. Trent's Jim Mitchell sounds like Sammy on acid. I think that's what Sammy is. He's Jim Mitchell on acid. But yeah.
when Sammy grows up, he's going to turn into James Mitchell Jr. And he's going to start his own church.
I could see Sam being a good manager. But saw the champ a couple days ago. Saw the champ a few days ago. He looked great. Champ's looking good. He's ready for Hard to Kill, by the way. Hard to Kill, January 12th, Dallas, Texas pay-per-view. He is ready to kick some ass. So he looked good. He looked good. But
I was trying to think, like, where did you see him? Well, you saw him at AAW.
AAW, man. Yeah. That's the man. I think he had the belt with him, but he didn't bring it out this time because he was in a tag match. Yeah, with Jake Christ. So no, he didn't. I can't remember if he brought the belt out or not. But I was all over the place. But anyway, participants in this one, Jay. Participants in this one, we have Low Key, Christopher Daniels, Sonny Siaki, Jorge Estrada. No, I'm sorry. I'm off. I'm jumping ahead on the competitors here, on the post match. Low Key, Christopher Daniels, Christopher Daniels, Elix Skipper, Jerry Lynn, Kid Romeo, Tony Mama Luke, and this is the order of elimination here. Let me just go down. Jerry Lynn's counted out. That makes him number 6,
which is weird.
Very weird. I didn't like that, but I think they're doing it on purpose just to keep him away. So it's going to be building the Styles thing for a bit.
Yeah.
Elix Skipper eliminates Tony Mamaluke, makes him number 5. Chris Daniels eliminates Elix Skipper, which is fun because all 3 members of Triple X are in this match.
Yes.
Future members, I should say. Low Key eliminates Kid Romeo, and to win it, Low Key eliminates Christopher Daniels. 21 minutes in this match. Holy shit, this match was incredible, though. That final, my God, Jay.
Yeah.
Take it away.
It
was
just
so good.
I was very pleasantly surprised. Now I'm not a big fan of Kid Romeo. In fact, this is like the first and only time I think I've ever seen him in wrestling.
You saw him in WCW. He did WCW stuff.
Okay, well I know there was a point in time in WCW right towards the end where I did stop watching somewhere within that last year, and and they said what did they say? Well, they said he was co-holder of the Junior Tag Team Championships. And I know that was one of the last belts they created.
The Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships.
Is that what they call them?
I think they were the Cruiserweight Tag Team titles, very much towards the end.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I wasn't real familiar with him, but I was a huge fan of Triple X back in the early TNA days. More Elix Skipper and Christopher Daniels as opposed to Low Key. But seeing Low Key in this environment, just wow, just everyone just on fire. And to see, I mean, I'm still a huge fan of Low Key and Christopher Daniels, especially Christopher Daniels being in AEW now. And just to know that both these guys are still going today and how good they are. Oh my God.
Incredible.
Yeah, this match was just absolutely ridiculous. Now, I was not as big of a fan of a guy like Tony Marmaluke because I wasn't a big ECW guy back then, but I was familiar with who he was. So, but yeah, this match was insane.
Insane. This is Low Key at his complete prime. I mean, Low Key's still great, but man, in 2002, 3, 4.
Just faster. Yeah.
You could not even touch this guy.
Yeah.
He was on another level. His talent was just like something you'd never seen. It looked like a real fight. Incredible match. The final, I want to say 6 minutes of this match are some of the best wrestling I've seen ever, especially in the TNA era. It was just so incredible. There's so many good matches during this time, but Jesus, this match was insane.
They gave this match over 20 minutes, which was
20 minutes.
So good. It was, just the fact that they gave this match, they didn't rush this. They let everybody get their shit in, and it was a great amount of time, between 20 to 25 minutes, and then even the chaos at the end, building characters.
Yes.
Oh my God! Just
it was just it's one of those things where like and not to shortchange Christopher Daniels either. He was at his prime during this. Another great competitor. But after this, the Flying Elvises interfere. They attack Low Key and Daniels as revenge for being left out of the match. Elix Skipper tries to make the save. He gets laid out. Kid Romeo, Tony Mamaluke come in. They get laid out. No Jerry Lynn on this one. Elvis's retreats. So they're interjecting more X Division guys into this, which I love. X Division was a big part of the company. Keep fueling the fire. Jarrett returns to the ringside or to the ring and tells go ahead.
Right before Jarrett hits the ring, we get a preview of what we're getting next week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there was a little bit of a breather there.
They said, they got the they got the cameras on the announce table, and they said that next week there's going to be a debut of another midget wrestler, Meatball.
Meatball
is going to face a returning Puppet, and I don't know why, but after seeing Puppet's debut and him caning everyone, I'm excited to see, number one, who's Meatball, and number two, how bad is Puppet going to destroy this guy? Apparently, he's like the biggest midget or something. So I'm very curious as to what's going to go on here.
Puppet was a name in that scene. I think he's still going now. I'm not sure. I thought I knew he was part of that Half Prime Brawlers. I know that for sure. I know he does. I think he still does the tour because Half Prime Brawlers still tours regularly. But
okay,
yeah. Or I'm sorry, Puppet does. Meatball we're talking about. Puppet does for sure, but Meatball. I'm trying to think who Meatball was, but again, man, that whole the midget underground midget wrestling scene is something that's definitely a niche. But he's still wrestling. He's from the Chicagoland area. That's the guy. I think I knew about this guy. He's part of that traveling micro championship wrestling. So I must have seen him on one of the shows I've been to at a Tilted Kilt. So anyway, Jared comes down and he noticed he's talking shit to the announcers, telling him he's going to get his title shot by hook or by crook. Some of the Tennessee Titans are in the front row, Jay, and he's like, I can only beat the Tennessee Titans because he says, and he'll win unlike the Tennessee Titans who can't get a win. That pisses him off. He takes a swing at them. They jump over the guardrail. Chaos. The Tennessee Titans start going here. Takes a chair, KOing people. Malice comes out, starts brawling with Jarrett. It is like the best part of this, though, Jay. Mike Tenay's commentary at the end. I thought he was losing his mind, and it was amazing.
He had a couple spots in this show where he was losing it. Like, when earlier it was a Jarrett spot where he was chair shotting everyone in the last segment that he was in.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jarrett, stop. I mean, it was like, he was up there. It was, And then
like, I was like, it got me so fired up. I was like, God damn, he's so underrated. He's so good. He made me feel all that.
Yeah. I mean, Don West is good as a hype guy because he's just kind of like,
absolutely.
He's just kind of like following the flow of the fans around him, which is fine as far as, getting excited. But yeah, when he gets, when today gets hyped, that was crazy.
Awesome. But I mean, it got me ready to go into. I wanted to watch number 5 like right away.
The fact that one of the Tennessee Titans, now I don't know who's who, who was out there as far as
three
players. Of them, 3 huge guys. The fact that one of them took a straight chair shot, I was like, oh my God.
He took one right to the goddamn face, man.
Yeah.
It was intense. It was intense. He took one right to the damn face. Like, holy shit. But what a champ.
Nuts. I popped for that. I was like, oh my God. Jarrett's insane.
Good for him, though. What a champ. But yeah, he definitely took a hard chair shot. But that was episode number 4, Jay. What a fantastic show, though. That one just got me hyped to watch number 5. I am so into these again, it's a lot of fun for me to watch them again.
I'm loving it. Yeah, it's you know, I took a break from some of my other stuff. Anybody who watches the Smashes podcast, it took a couple weeks off, just kind of chilling at the end of the year with the holidays and everything. It's just life going on, you know. But man, I am sticking with these. These are so much fun, and it just reminds you how good some of these guys were back in the day. And it's not a knock on the current product. It's just fun because so many people shit on TNA. It's like, okay, there was some corny shit, you know, and we're having some laughs watching these.
Sure.
But damn, man, there is a history here, and I'm so glad we're covering this.
Absolutely, man. It's a lot of fun to cover. I'm really, really enjoying it. So glad we're doing it. Glad you guys are enjoying us doing it. It's a total blast. We're gonna keep going. We're not quite like, guys, you heard us talk about Eric DeHoff, our good buddy and listener here. He's on episode 57 as of today. We got him so hyped on this that he can't stop watching. I said, you might have to take over these shows, Eric. And he's like, absolutely not. It's going to be you guys. So we'll keep doing it.
Hell, but, he probably watched 10 more, you know, since you read that.
Yeah, probably. But let's go ahead and wrap it up. New Year's Eve tomorrow, so let's everybody get ready. I got to get ready for some stuff. So let's Jay, what do you got? What you got? Some news?
I wanted to not news, but I was doing some cleaning. You know, we were getting stuff out for the holidays and everything, and you dig through and you find stuff. And I'd been looking for this for a while, and my wife actually found this, and I've been looking for this. I was happy to find this. This is a timepiece back from the start of, because everybody's talking about, oh, we're ending a decade. Well, you know what? This is from the start of the decade. This is a classic NWA Wisconsin shirt, and it's autographed. Shit. It's autographed by the great Baron von Raschke, and over here is Abyss.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Wow, so NWA Wisconsin. Yeah. So this was one of the first like indie shows that I went to ever. Almost 10 years ago, met the Baron von Raschke. This is back when Bruce City Wrestling was tied with the NWA, and now they're I don't know what they're tied to, but anyways, but yeah. So,
that's cool, man. That's very cool.
Found that, wanted to share because we're talking NWA-TNA stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's all linked. Very, very nice. That's cool, Jay. Thanks for sharing that.
You bet, man.
Where can people find you, Jay? Where can they connect with you as we go to 2020?
In 2020 and currently, you can find me over on the Twitter box at JBone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150. You can also find me on that other little podcast called Smash This Podcast, where we're smashing all sorts of stuff, going into the new year, talking AEW, a little bit of Impact news, and I don't know, we're going to just pretty much everything that is not WWE at the moment. So yeah, we'll be getting back into the swing of things over there. You can also find me on you can find Smash This Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well.
Very nice, guys. You can find me at Vanilla Joke, Instagram, Twitter, or Hemi Music, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go ahead and connect with me there. Also, the show is available at We Talk Impact on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just type in We Talk Impact, all one word. Total Nonstop Impact comes up. Guys, don't forget the podcast is available wherever podcasts are found. Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. You name it, we're on it. Jay, I Googled us the other day, and we show up on like 28 more podcast platforms I've never even heard of. They're all on there. I don't know who's who. It's bizarre how many other podcast platforms are there, but we're on all of them. Guys, check us out. The throwback show we're doing here is exclusively on this channel, the Total Nonstop Impact YouTube channel, not on the Impact Lounge. We're still part of the Impact Lounge for the weekly Impact review, but this is an exclusive to this channel, so make sure you're subscribed to the Total Nonstop Impact YouTube channel as well as the Impact Lounge. So be a part of it. Lots of stuff coming up in 2020. I am headed to Hard to Kill, the first pay-per-view of 2020. So we're kicking it off right. I'll be touching base. I'll try to get some stuff live on site from the guys down there and feed it over to Jay. He can put things together, and we'll hit the great review when I get back. So Guys, don't forget to connect with us. Rate, review, subscribe everywhere you can. Let us know how you think we're doing. Episode number 5 of the Throwback will be up next week, and we'll resume weekly Impact Wrestling after this week. Next Tuesday is the next new episode. So the second award show is airing this Saturday. After that's done, like I said, we might try to do a recap, maybe Sunday night or something, Jay. We'll try to do a recap show to wrap all that up. We'll talk maybe the winners if we can, and then we'll do the weekly. We'll resume the weeklies as we head to Hard to Kill. So, guys, Connect with us. Have a great, happy, safe 2020. Thank you for 2019. You've been amazing to us. We love you all. Jay, I'll let you get the floor now to thank some people too.
Oh yeah, just this whole year has been quite the change in pace for me personally in podcasting, and becoming part of this family, the Total Nonstop Impact family, the Impact Lounge family, has created another whole new fan base for me, which I'm speechless. I can't thank everyone enough for reaching out, connecting, sharing, jumping in the chat. I've never had such an interactive fan base before. It just blows my mind every week. Everybody that shows up early. Guys like Mir Meesum, Hakeem, Critical Sting, and just the list goes on and on. Just people showing up, connecting with us. Just thank you so much. It's just amazing.
You guys have become more than just listeners. You're our friends, and we appreciate that. It's been an amazing year for me as well, and the show. I mean, when I see us ranking up, Jay, in other countries and getting on iTunes charts and stuff, I mean, it's awesome to see that stuff and the play counts and everything. People love us talking Impact Wrestling. I promising you and Kyle, 2020 is the year that Impact Wrestling takes notice and we do something. I don't know what the hell it is, even if it's one goddamn time that we work with them officially as part of the show. It's going to happen this year. You watch. That's my goal, man. That's my goal. They're going to either so swole is the goal, size is the prize, man. Like we're going to do it. I think we're at the point where we've gained a lot of momentum, and this is the time to really push hard one way or another. So, guys, thank you very much. 2020 is upon us. Have a great, safe New Year's Eve and a healthy New Year's Day. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you sometime next week. Don't forget to say hello online. Give us, we'll be sending out some New Year's wishes as well. So say hello in the next couple of days, guys. Thank you very much. Jay, I'll let you say goodbye for me, everybody. Jay, take the floor. Say goodbye to all these beautiful people.
Take care, everyone. Much love. I'll be doing like a decade in review in a couple days. Watch for that on Smash This podcast. You can chime in. We'll be doing like a round table thing right after the new year kicks off.
Beautiful.
But yeah, thank you, everyone. Again, much love, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.